We may look stupid, yeah.
Okay, we're live.
Mighty men. That's what we call it. Yeah, these are gamers. It's not functional. But they were functional
Let's go, nigga. What's up?
You want to start? We're good, yeah.
Good? Yeah. Alright, shalom. We're here again in Toronto. First, we're going to start by saying three names. We call Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Kakadash. Right, come out of the apostles, the great restore, and the over Christians word and truth, the gospel of the here. So there's lots of going on. We're just in the other camp, and you're mentioning that Deacon Hakka, I didn't even see this video yet, but apparently he's saying that, the chariots, it's like he's making a mockery of the fact that the chariots are going to beam us up. Like he's saying it's not going to happen, right? And we were talking about it in other camp, how, these guys have left the faith. They're not during sound doctrine, right? Yeah. Because that one of the world has gotten to them, and you see those guys, it's clear that they sold out. It's very clear. Right? It's obvious. Like, they're not even hiding it. Might as well just come out and say you sold out at this point. Honestly, because for you to say that you did it is just absurd. It's just absurd. You get the sound doctrine. Okay, got it. Yeah.
You're all there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it.
Yep, this is 2 Timothy 4:3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Yeah, so we're in that time right now. And that's why the apostle is here with apostates, sellouts, and Jacob's trouble. Right? He's here. That's what we're seeing. Agents there, right? We're seeing all this stuff happen. The reason why is because the line of the world, which is that money, right, has gotten to them. And the thing is, the way it is, you were already this person in the beginning. You never really put off that old man. That's really what happened, right? And I think it was Deacon Hakar, the other one, whatever the fuck his name is. But he was saying that, I never really believed in the whole Gentile thing. And it was always questioning. So you're always questioning, but you're saying a group that talks about it, but yet you're questioning. So you're an agent. You're an agent the whole fucking time. Yeah. Right? You're an agent provocateur. You're a liar. You're a hypocrite. That's right. I think. Yeah, there's a little bit more. Okay. This is 2 Timothy 4:3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap up to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. Yeah, exactly. So I mentioned the chariots, the fable. Oh, the chariots are not going to be. That just sounds weird. Chariots being those up and put. So now this is the fable you're creating, and you have fools that are listening to you, right, to this fable. And at the end of the day, that's what the Lord wants. He set up you guys to sift, right? The ones that He doesn't want. So,
I was going to say that the seed and the deceiver.
Exactly.
Right? So He set up other people to be deceived, not by deceivers. So basically, He is a blind person leading other blind people into a ditch. Exactly. Right? That was it.
Back you up with this. This is Romans 3:3. What if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yeah, let God be true, but every man is a liar, as it is written. Thou that mightest be justified in thy saying, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Yeah, so even if those guys don't believe, right? what the true doctrine of Yahweh Shem Shai is, that doesn't mean what we prophesy every week is not going to happen. It's happening. You know, who the fuck are you? This truth was here before you, and it's going to be after you. Right? Because the truth was here from the beginning, man.
That's right.
Right? It's going to be right after you're already on your ass anyways. You're just leaking oil at this point. What the Lord's going to do is just crack that match at the end of your oil. Okay? And watch the trail of fire just blow you up. That's what's happening to you niggas. Yeah. This is verse Romans 3 and 4. God forbid. Yeah, let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Verse 1? Verse here? Yeah. Romans 3 and 3. But what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
Yeah, so the whole joke is the scriptures are already manifesting right now before your eyes. Like, so the fact that for you to go and sell out and take the bag, right, that means you're actually blind.
Yeah, that's right.
You're actually blind. To us, it's strange because we're looking at like, we know what's going on. We're looking at like, wow. For you to tell them to take the bag at this point in time in the game, right, it's like you actually don't see it. Because you're lacking faith.
Right.
Because faith and having faith and be able to see they're interchangeable. They come together. You can't believe in something that you can't see. Right? But the irony about faith, it's things that you can't see. But we're talking about physical things you can't see, not spiritual things. But the thing about the spiritual always manifests physically eventually. So part of it is that you guys are also not patient. Right? So you have a lot of fucking problems.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of examples of men that were in the same situation as us right now. Right? All the prophets.
Yeah.
Right? They were prophesying things that people did not believe, just like how now we're prophesying. And majority of people don't believe what we're saying, and it's okay. Even men are in the truth right now, and like so-called these men, right? Because you see them like getting kicked out left, right, and center, and they're still holding on by a thread, right? Just to stir confusion, man. You know. So faith isn't like the scripture tell you the definition of faith, right? Let me get it in the Hebrews. Yeah, bring it out.
This is Luke 6 and 24. Yahweh said, but woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Right? So for you to sell out like that, that's basically the consolation.
Yeah.
Because you're not actually willing to take the route of and to take the route of actually exemplified an example of uprightness, right? Because you're basically taking the root of Jews. Basically.
Yep. They're shekels.
That's all it is. Right? And it's not even at least you got real money, not to justify what you give, but like you're not even using real money, and then you're gonna sell out for that kind of money. And then that money's not even real, and then they're going to transfer it to a digital system.
Yeah.
So you're still doing that.
Yeah, what a time. The brother just mentioned the digital system. That's about to happen. So everything, like I said, Nate, Deacon Hakar, Nate is like $150 million net worth. Right? From what we know, from what we heard, it might be even more. When this system is transferred over, you think you're gonna carry over that 150 million? In order for you to keep that, you're gonna have to take the chip.
That's right.
Right? All you niggas, your Hellcats, right? All that shit's gonna be locked down because guess what? They want cars that's gonna be on the grid locked down, right?
Yeah.
Control the 50-minute cities. So you're really selling out to Esau for nothing. Because he's not gonna remember you in that day, man, when he's about to like just smash everyone, switch over the system. He's not gonna remember you. Oh, I sold out to you. Remember me? No. The same thing your house is gonna do to you. Esau's gonna do the same thing to you. Right? Esau's gonna get the fuck away from you. You know?
I got it said consolation, right?
Yeah, it is.
So I went at the margin. It says that which consoles, act of consoling, alleviation of misery or distress of mind. So you guys are under distress or misery, and you use that money to alleviate it. Something that's not even real money. It's not even real money. You use fake money, right, to alleviate the distress of your mind instead of the comfort of it. Right? That's crazy. Which is actually going to create more distress.
So you say that the rich is way more profitable than they are right? As well as like using something carnal to alleviate a spiritual problem. Right? So I said, yeah, con, like, yeah, that's it. Examples of our forefathers who were righteous, they didn't live a life that was super posh and comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Yahushua came lowly on a donkey, right? He said, foxes have holes, the Son of Man doesn't have a place to lay his head. That's right. So, like, I mean, if the Lord blesses you with money, yeah, great. But at the same time, like, it's not salvation. Exactly. It's not salvation. That's all.
People said money's a defense.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Right here. So Luke 4 verse 4, and Yahushua answered him, saying, it is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of the Most High.
Like Yahushua comes in the volume of the book, right? So going into the way he carried himself, the way he humbled himself, right? There was times when he even performed certain like miracles, and he's like, okay, don't tell me. You know what I'm saying? So he had an example, another example of humility. And a lot of our people are not
And that's actually written in the book of Deuteronomy, which shows you that the Lord Yahushua actually like taught from the Old Testament, which we so-called Christians, we say that the Old Testament is got away with. Here it is the Lord Yahushua himself, all the teachings that he had, he didn't come up with them. They all on the Old Testament.
Let me answer that quick one as well. He actually quoted from the prophet Isaiah.
Yep.
Right? And then he closed the book and they sat down and they looked at them, they were like, yo, Joseph's son of carpenter. So they were talking smack back then.
Yes, right.
It's
the same verse is from the book of Deuteronomy 8 verse 3, and it reads, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not. So when you quote the word manna, the word there basically means, what is this? That manna is actually, in this time, it's smaller from Yahushua. Yahushua is a bread from the heavens. Okay? It says, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord, Yahweh, that man live.
When the Lord fed us with manna in the wilderness, we were very grateful. You know what I'm saying? So we got fed because their mentality was like, oh, all we have is this manna. Remember they were reminiscent about Egypt back then. So it shows you their mindset because they were thinking about, yo man, the leeks, the fish, the melons, the cucumbers. They were reminiscent about all those things. But yo, all we have is this manna. Right? So they didn't really treat it as something that they would forget this, right? So they were very ungrateful for the way that they behaved in the wilderness, especially when the Lord actually did the whole miracle with the loaves and the fish, because there were just some that just came because they just wanted to be fed.
You made a good point where the others said comfortable, and people were just talking about Egypt, and they were comfortable, and the comfortability that the Egyptians gave them, which were the gifts, like the scripture said, the gift destroyed the heart. So they were reminiscing on Egypt, but you were in slavery in Egypt. Yeah, you were able to, work, whatever, but you were in slavery under heathens. But yet you're reminiscing about that time.
Yeah.
But the Lord freed you, but you might not have those things that you had in Egypt, those gifts, those comfortabilities, those delectables.
But you have freedom.
Exactly. So you rather chains than freedom, just because the chains come with these gifts. Trinkets, that's a better word, right? Anyways, so 1 Corinthians, to land back what we're saying, 1 Corinthians 7 and 30 and 14, it says, those who weep or who rejoice or who buy things should not be absorbed by their weeping or their joy of their possessions, right? Because these things are about to go, right? These things that we have, it's only temporary. Like the elder mentioned, money is defense. So yeah, the Lord blesses you with money however He does it. You use it for certain things, but you're not attached to it. So when the time comes, you have to let it go. You let it go. Like, yeah, whatever. That's it. That's it.
Same thing with jobs.
Yeah.
Because you know, like all the brothers, yes, we have to make a living, we have to get our daily bread. We have to have it in our mind that these things are going to be taken away from us.
Yeah. All of it.
You know, our houses, whatever, we have houses, apartments, whatever the case may be. Because we're all going to be tested. At the end of the day, this is all a test. You know, are you going to pass the test or are you going to fail the test? You know, and that's why Esau is there. And these guys are showing, it's not even time yet for the test to be like amped up, and they already failed it.
Yeah, it's not even an exam. You're just pop quizzes and you're failing.
And you're failing. Starting with the doctrine, you're trying to change the doctrine. But like the brothers are saying in the beginning, the only people that you're gonna get out, yank out are the men who are not of the elect.
That's it.
The elect are not gonna listen to you fucking idiots. You know, because you're made for. This is what you were created to do.
Yeah, that's right.
What you're doing right now, that's it. You know.
Verse 31, it says, those who use the things of the world should not become attached to them. For this world, as we know, it will soon pass away. So you can use the things of the world, just don't be attached to it. That's it. So the Lord's not saying, hey, like I said, some brothers are in different situations financially. Some are higher, some are a little bit lower. That's where the ones that are high are supposed to help the ones that are low. That's the balance, right? But you don't get attached to those things, right? Like the elder just mentioned, there's going to be a time you're going to lose it. And you know, every brother's gone through, I can speak for myself. I've had things, and I did it. And there's times where recently I had to get rid of, I had to sell my car. I was between selling my car and getting my phone. That's how little the Lord brought me. I was like, whatever, man, it is what it is. There's times where I was high. But when it happens, like the disciples, I believe it was my Paul, take it cheerfully, but now I'm saying it's wrong. Yeah, take it cheerfully. Because it's actually a good thing. That means the Lord's you're still in the game. You're still in the game. Because this is an experiment, but it's also a game. And I'm saying it's a game in the sense of a spiritual sense, not saying like a funny ha ha ha, right? But every game, you try to win something. It's a prize, right? So the prize is the crowd, right? But you got to pass the test, like the elder says, which is not taking, the major thing is not taking MOTV.
Yeah, fine.
Like you already have men that are already changing the doctrine before you even got to that point yet. You even get to that point where it got introduced and said that you had to make a decision. So you already know you're going to take it. You already failed.
Yeah. I mean, Apostle Paul said, I know how to be a base, I know how to bound to. Right? So there was moments where he was, it was good. And there were moments where you're not feeling so good, right? But like at some point, the thing is like, when you're not doing so-called like not that good, so to speak, it's still an opportunity to still get good. Yes, right? Yeah. So that's really the real comfort. Because like these people in the world, they don't have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they look at it, our people see it like, okay, I'm not winning and so on and so forth, right? But like it's an opportunity to build that relationship, right? We went astray, like it says in Peru. So now when you have those things, when you're basically low, okay, it's like an opportunity, okay, seek the Lord, grab onto him. Be like that woman that was sick, and all she wanted to do was just grab onto Howard Shai's project. That's all she wanted to do.
I don't know what you're saying. When you're brought low, you get this to the Lord, and He shows you the talents that He gave you. Because now you have nothing. You have nothing. So like whatever He put inside of you, you're gonna see it. It's like, oh, okay, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. And you're gonna use these talents, whatever He gave you, to try to get out of the situation, right? And you realize, okay, I have this talent. This is where He wants me to go. This is the path He wants me on. Everything's more clear now because all the distractions are gone. He took everything away. So everything's very clear, everything's very quiet. Right? You can hear His voice, and you can hear when He's telling you to go this way, go that way, do this, do that. So then when He brings you back up again, you know His voice. You can hear it in the noise, because it's always going to be noise. There's going to be times when there's no noise, there's going to be times when there is noise, right? And I think there's a scripture that says, call here, he says, hear this, I call this way, go this way, I'm trying to remember how it goes.
So here, a word again, we give?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Maybe someone can get it. Okay, let's get this last one. 1 Corinthians 7:32. It says, NLT, I want you to be free from the concerns of this life An unmarried man can spend his time doing the Lord's work and thinking how to please Him.
That's so true. That is so true because there's so much distractions and so much noise in Babylon. So once you're unmarried, you have more of a higher devotion towards the Lord, and essentially, like we were saying earlier, at the other camp, you have more opportunity to not just get close to the Lord, but you have opportunity even to get rid of certain things that might have been like that kind of hindered you. Right, so you might have had certain addictions, right? Remember, Yahushua is our physician as well, right? So he's able to help you to clean you up, right? But when you're in that point where you're basically you don't have all those when you're unmarried, so to speak, those are some of the benefits that can happen, when you're actually clinging onto the Lord, right? And trimming those, basically like that sacrifice when you get rid of the fat, right? You're able to trim a lot of your old ways so you become more profitable unto the Lord, basically, right?
Right here. It's the book of Isaiah 30 verse 21, and it reads, "And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left."
Yeah, so you have to be able to hear the voice, right? Which is Yahushua. But if you don't know how to focus, right? If you lack the ability to focus on what which is Yahushua, because you get easily distracted, he's gonna tell you to do something, you're not gonna see it, you're not gonna hear it, and you're gonna go do something you're not supposed to do.
That's right.
Right? That's why he has to. It's a training process. He has to take away all the things that are distracting you and retrain you on how to hear him and what his voice sounds like and how he talks to you. Because he talks to every brother differently. He doesn't talk to all brothers the same. He does different things with different brothers, right? There's a lot of different methods he does, but every brother knows how when the Lord's talking to him. They can hear it. He might be talking to a stranger might come up and say something to you, and then you're like, oh shit, I was thinking about this today. I prayed to the Most High about something, and this guy just said the exact same thing. No, that's the Most High talking. Because we understand that the Lord can use anybody to give you a message. It's not going to always be brothers, sometimes it can be strangers. Right? The last one, actually, let's actually go on this. Verse 23, but a married man has to think about his earthly responsibility and how to please his wife. Right?
That's the complete opposite. That's what we are. A lot of other people think they have a wife and they have all these. Like, what's that parable where the guy said, I have to attend to the house and attend to the sheep and stuff like that?
Yep.
Is it the marriage?
Khan is the story of the marriage and the groom.
Khan,
Yeah.
the bridegroom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's that mindset, okay, I gotta go attend to this, I gotta go attend to that. I had all these pressures because like in the ancient times, as a man, you probably had like a vineyard, you probably had cattle, sheep, cow, whatever it was, a wife, right? You had all these different earthly possessions, right? That's why the Lord, wants like young men because you don't really have a lot of those attachments. Right? You know what I'm saying? So you're more attached to the Lord, right? And that's what makes us as Israelite men profitable. That's one thing that people are forgetting, right? The Lord, scriptures say wisdom maketh a man's face to shine, right? Look how Joseph was when he was in Egypt. The Lord, he was very, very profitable to the Pharaoh because like he had he had a gift to be able to understand dreams and to be able to break it down, right? And then that led to him being lifted up. But there was a period in time when you go through his story, he was brought home in prison for 2 years or something.
Yeah. And and now people equate spirituality or the Lord dealing with money. Or the things of the world, like precious, I would say, riches, I would say, because like when you go into the Christian doctrine, that's all these motherfuckers talk about, man. Sowing seed, right? Oh, touch my hand, right? You can, next week you'll be rich by next week and all that shit. You see videos like this all the time, right? Prosperity, and it trickles down into the ones that's going into their churches too, because when you talk to a Christian, all they talk about, oh look, I'm blessed. I have a great job. I have a family. I have this and that. But that means the Lord's not dealing with you, because those are things of the world. Right? And we don't boast in those things. Yes, brothers might have those things, might have good jobs, they might have a family, a wife, or wives, or children. We don't boast because we know we're going to lose these things.
Exactly.
Right? The Lord give it, the Lord take it.
Exactly. Verse 24, it says, his interests are divided in the same way a woman who is no longer married or has never been married can be devoted to the Lord and holy in body and in spirit. Right? So that's what happens. So it's like in the scripture, a man cannot serve two masters, for his love one and hate the other. Right? right? So, yeah, use the world, but don't be attached to the world. Don't be attached to it, because whatever you're attached to is where you're going to go. If it goes right, you're going to go right with it. So if the Lord's saying go left, but you're attached to the world going right, you're going to go right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're seeing with these guys that are selling out. They were always attached to the world. The world called them. They said, hey, we want you to actually go left now. Okay, bet. Right? And then they did it. It's very simple. You know?
I just believe that, that these guys, like when you watch those CIA movies and how they pretty much infiltrate a lot of the the agents.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of them probably got served jail, like they were probably in the world doing a bunch of bullshit, whether it be selling drugs or murdering their own people. And Esau just made them a deal, like, hey, I want you to do this, infiltrate this organization.
True.
Just be in there for a while and then, just go in there and split it up. That's what I believe that these men are, they're paid. I feel like they have charges and all that stuff. Yeah. And then Esau came to them and like, hey, this is the new assignment. Yeah, exactly. But this, the Lord, listen, this is of the Lord. The Black Panther wasn't of the Lord. The rest of these organizations wasn't of the Lord. This is of the Lord, so you're not going to be able to do anything. You're just going to get rebuked, man, and chopped up, verbally, virtually.
That's so true too, because I remember I heard that there's like this guy making a car. He used to be like a pimp. So probably the guy got
probably got 250 years for sex trafficking.
Yeah, sex trafficking. There you go, man. It's probably got thrown in the bin, and then he basically he's gave like a jail, a free jail card, but you have to do like bidding of the devil.
That's right.
Same thing with Alizé. He used to be like a drug dealer.
Yeah, and a gangbanger.
Gangbanger, that's right.
Yeah.
And even when he was playing quote unquote in the truth, he was still representing part of the Crips or the Crips or.
Yeah.
But he said he was a man of the Lord. Like, it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So he made it clear, like, he wasn't, still part of the world.
Probably still out there smoking weed.
Yeah.
Because I remember they were talking about, you can still smoke weed and all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
But they were never in the truth. I just believe that, they got infiltrated.
Yeah.
And then they try to infiltrate the truth. Because like looking back now in 2000 and probably like 16, 15, that's when I remember seeing those guys on the highways and byways over on the West Coast or whatever, California. I don't know, like San Diego, wherever they're from. I remember seeing them, but like, there was something different about them. You know what I'm saying? They would be a part of the GMS, and then after a while, they broke off. I remember all that. I was there for all of that. I remember those guys. And now look at them,
I got to a little bit more. I thought it was done, but it's not good. It says, but a married woman has to think about her earthly responsibilities, how to please her husband. I am saying this for your benefit, not to place restrictions on you. I want you to do whatever will help you serve the Lord best, with as few distractions as possible. Right? So there's nothing wrong with trying to make money, trying to having a job, making money, doing things to make money, because money is an effect. It's just that you don't want to be attached to the idea like the money is going to save you. Right? The money's not going to save you. It can help you in certain situations, defend you from like obviously poverty, not eating food, being able to live in a house, whatever, your car payment, whatever. But, right, it's not to be thinking that this is going to deliver me. It's not going to deliver you, right? It's not going to deliver you because when the MOTV comes, right, you're going to be tested. Some of us might be in camps, some of us might be in the run, some of us might come in your house, whatever the case may be, they're gonna threaten you to take this MOTV and you have to make a decision. And this money is not going to save you. It won't save you. I got the gold bars, I got all this, my crypto, I got 100 million, man, just take it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't want that. Yep. That's not their mission. They might take the money, but it's like, no, you still got to decide whether you're going to take the MOTV. You're going to take it or not. Yeah. Right? So, yeah, that was
Yeah, you can bring it out.
This is Proverbs 11:4, and it says, riches profit not in a day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. I want to come down to verse 8, and it says, the righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. Right? So I read that because just going back to the point with the money, because you can even have the money, but if you're not righteous, like, it doesn't mean that if you're unrighteous, the Lord can actually still find a way to judge you. Very negative. right? So, the money doesn't really make much of a difference. It's just merely a tool, right? And if you're spiritual, you can use that tool to actually acquire spiritual riches. Use the carnal to acquire spiritual riches, right? Because the Lord can actually put you in a situation where, okay, maybe this person might need some help. Okay, let me reach out to them, right? Exactly, right? But, like, for example, you had a lot of believers in the time of Acts where they sold a lot of their possessions and they brought it to the to the apostles, right? So that would be using their earthly possessions for what they had, because not everybody was instead of a teacher or a bishop or anything like that. They might have just been helps back then. They used their earthly possessions to be able to acquire spiritual riches, right? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's just how you use it. That's really all. That's important.
I got 1 John 2:15 says here, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. All that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of Yahweh Shem Shai abideth forever.
Sorry.
Well, you got it.
I was just going to say that this world is constantly, like in Babylon, it's great, like especially Canada as well, all these developed nations, it's constantly filled with lust. It doesn't push that mindset of temperance, discipline. It's all about just freaking off. They have a freak off type of mindset. There's no spirit, no consideration, no fear, no anything like that. Nothing to kind of like bridle them and hold them back. Right? There's no mentality of suffering. There's no mentality of trying to let me discipline myself. It's all about just encouraging and feeding lust, right? So if you're in that type of mindset, it basically is just going to lead to destruction, all right? Because there's nothing to actually keep you. And that's what the scriptures does. It keeps you from. The scriptures say that she prevented them that desire her, right? So to the desire of wisdom, basically it's like chains, right? So fetters, like how a prisoner might have. It's very difficult to walk, so it chains you from doing certain things. I give you a good example going back to Joseph. When the Pharaoh's wife hit on him, she's looking at Joseph, she's like, you know what I'm saying? Joseph knew in his mind back then, it's like, nah, I'm not entertaining this woman's advances. You know what I'm saying? Sure. But so that shows that Joseph had what? He had wisdom, right?
Right, yeah, because he also, remember, he's of the stock of the Hebrews.
Yeah.
So whatever he learned, remember, he was practicing the law, statutes, and commandments. Before he got snatched up by his brothers and sold into slavery, right? So he knew that's adultery.
Yeah.
Maybe in the Egyptian culture that was probably acceptable.
Yeah, it was normal.
Right? Maybe. I don't know, because the husband did get mad.
Yeah, it's true.
After he told him, so maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? So, but like your brother said, he used wisdom.
I got a point because you read 1 John 2 and 17. I'm just going to read it again. It says, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh Shai abideth forever. So, the second part to that is like, to do the will of Yahweh Shai you abide forever, because that's why the scripture says, righteousness of filthy rags, right? Righteousness of filthy rags. Now, I'm not saying you don't do the will because of that scripture. It's just that, you're going to be in the world. We're all in the world. Everyone's in the world. We're all in this flesh. So you're never going to be perfect, right? That's the main thing. So you don't want to be over righteous and think that, I do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. But some of those men do that where they're like, I've been for how long? I've done all my works. Why am I'm better than you? Right? I'm better than you. But at the end of the day, the person said, righteous are filthy rags.
None of us are perfect.
Yeah.
We sin on a daily. Like right now, we're sinning.
Yeah.
We're preaching and we're still sinning because we're mixed fabric.
Yeah.
So we're not justified by that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why you have to, back to the point that I just said, that's why you have to focus, when you do the work, you gotta do the work. You can't be twisting the words with the truth, adding and mixing, stuff like that, because that's the only thing that's really giving you a chance to be delivered. It's that, right? And that's just saying it in the carnal sense, because at the end of the day, the elect are the elect. They've been ordained from the beginning. So we don't know who the elect are. So the only thing you can have to kind of like This is the only thing that's going to give me a chance to be delivered is just make sure you're preaching the word the correct way. Right? Preach it the correct way. So as soon as you're doing that incorrectly, you're fucked. You're fucked. Because that's the only thing you have. Look at that. I didn't see it. What was it?
Wait.
Taking a picture?
It's like praying. It's like
Okay. That's an Egyptian thing.
Yeah. Come.
Hope doesn't say anything.
Okay, I'll keep reading the one that you read. First John 2:18. It says, "Little children, it is the last time, as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time." Antichrist doesn't mean like some guy with 666 down on his forehead, he's gonna float in the sky, and horns are coming out of his head, and he's gonna shoot beams out of his eyes. And that's someone talking about. Antichrist just means anti-Yahushai. Right. So you're preaching and you're not preaching the truth. You're preaching what opposite of the truth. Right? Anything opposite of the truth. So Deacon Hakah, Al-Azhar, Catholic Church, all these other different religions, right? They're all antichrists. All of them.
Especially Christianity.
Yes.
Tells you that you shall know them by their fruits.
Yeah.
Okay, so their fruits tell these guys that they keep telling doctrines. Okay, they like one, like this guy Genesis or the Sakari in Genesis. Right now he said like this like all nations can be saved, all these can be saved. Okay, that's something that years ago they never used to preach. They never used to preach. Because that the Most High is not an author of confusion. These guys are bringing confusion to show you that by their fruits, that they are false prophets, man. They are really the anti-Christ, like it's going into.
Yeah.
The anti-Hamashiach, the anti-the truth, right? Anti-anointed.
That's right.
Okay. 2 Peter 1:16. It says, "For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and coming of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty." Right? So these are cunningly devised fables. And we're cunning, actually. Someone could go into it. Okay.
Cunning?
Yeah, cunning.
Okay, cunning in the etymology it says learned, skillful, possessing knowledge. It says skillfully deceitful.
Yeah, so it's you guys. So you're learned. So you had to learn this truth, right? Right, to be able to twist the truth and add lies. And the elder was mentioning that these guys are agents. I agree because of how, especially we're talking about Deacon Hakah and those guys. It's because of how they did a 180.
Yeah.
It was only like the other guys, like what's his name, Captain Zaryak, where it's kind of like, he has things here and there that are not right? But he didn't do a 180. These guys did a complete 180. So that would make sense that they're agents. They're more agents, And
Yeah. There's more, yeah. Okay. It says understanding, it says information, it says to
spy.
Have.
So a spy has to collect information, has to collect intel, right? They infiltrate places, and you see it in the movies all the time. 007, they infiltrate, they collect data, and then they have a target or a mark, and they turn them, right? They turn them, but they have to get to know them first, right? So I think in Apostle Tahar always used to say, like, we're a certain men that always are trying to get close to everybody, right? Yeah. Not that helping brothers is not a bad thing. It's just that they're trying to get to know everybody, know your secrets, where you work, where you live, all these things that, and you got to read the spirit. You're like, I'm good, bro. Like, you want to help me out? That's cool, because the scriptures say, try the spirits, right? And try, actually, you're reading, talking about if you're driving here, the word try also goes to experiment. So you got to put certain people into experiments. You got to test them out to find out who they really are, right?
It says to have ability or capacity. It says ability to understand, intelligence, wisdom, prudence, cleverness, shrewdness, practical skill in a secret or crafty manner.
Yeah, and I forgot which one's which. You can The one that talks very eloquently is Hassad.
They both do kind of.
They do, but
Yeah.
not the one that wears a hat. The other one. Hassad. Yeah. He talks very eloquently, like very, like he has wisdom. You know, he has that image like of a pastor in the world. You know, he talks like Esau. Not the same. Esau owns the idea of being intelligent. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more like he tries to come in the image of the world, right? Because there's brothers that don't. You know, some brothers stutter. I stutter sometimes, right? You know, it doesn't mean what I'm saying is not wisdom. Right? But some people in the world, a lot of people in the world really focus on speaking properly, not stuttering, using not using filling words like and, stuff like that, right? So these guys, he acts really like that. So it's like, it's kind of like, it's too clean. It's like you don't have any dirt on you. Like, I'm not saying you should be dirty, but like you don't have any flaws.
Yeah, you can see through his bullshit.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like someone who's trained.
Exactly, that's the word. Yeah, it's trained. Yeah.
But most of these pastors, that's the same way they operate.
Yeah.
Right? Like the brother said, they don't use the filler words.
Yeah.
Like maybe, and all that stuff, right? They don't use those words. They just go right to from one 25-cent word to another 25-cent word.
Exactly right.
Yeah. That's the person who's trained.
Yeah.
You know? Up in this truth, we don't speak like that. I mean, there are brothers who are very eloquent.
Yes.
Right? That's part of being an Israelite anyways.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're simple men. And we give you we get right to the point and we give you the truth hardcore. That's it.
Yes. And that's that point where you just said, you give you the truth straight to the point, hardcore. He doesn't do that. Every time you ask him questions, he always goes roundabout to kind of, slippery, circumlocution, right? He's always doing that type of fucking shit. Instead of just answer the question directly, like when he has those videos where people ask him questions, Christians or whoever, he won't answer the question. Like the answer's clear, but he'll try to twist it. You go around about to give him an answer, but it's a snake. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I have a quick presentation.
Yeah.
That knows what I'm saying. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 1, and it says, "And I, brethren, when I came to you, I came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach, or Yahushua Mashiach, for I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahushua Mashiach, him crucified, and I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling." That's the point. It says, verse 4, "And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and power." Right? So, not all just the way the Lord chooses. Not going to always choose. He chooses men that are very, very lowly. Right? When you go into like the making of, for example, like an altar, because we're talking about how Hassad speaks very eloquent. Yeah. In the ancient times, when you made an altar, you normally would use stones that are like, they're not hewn stones. Yeah. The stones were very like uncut. Uneven. Right? So, that was just then is now, right? So the Lord is going to use men that are not,
polished.
Not polished, exactly. It's not to, it's because when the stones that basically were like very, very polished and well cut, it was more to demonstrate man's power, what they were able to do. It didn't actually exemplify the power of Yahushua Shai, right? A good example is Moses, because Moses said, like, Lord, I'm not eloquent. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who speaks well, right? And that's what our people also would equate to thinking that somebody is
righteous.
Is righteous, so to speak. Right? So just to go into the way the Lord chooses, right? The Lord doesn't always, he chooses essentially, like what the scriptures say, he chooses the base things of the world to confound the things that are mighty and the things that are, noble, so right? So that was the point.
I got something. This is James 2:5. "Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not Yahweh chosen the poor of the world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him?" I'll just break it down. Yeah, poor of the world. That's us, man. Or the Israelites in general, but we're the ones who's coming out here and confronting Esau, which is the rich man. Right? Telling you about his folly, telling you about his destruction, and also confronting our people that's going off. Right? Because our people look at Deacon and Khan and Assad, like the brothers were saying, they speak eloquent, and they'll be propped up right in the Israelite world, so to speak. And the men that are here, we don't sound like the people of the world, right? So we're pretty much being pushed on the feet, But we're the ones that the Lord's dealing with, man. Right? Starting with the doctrine, right? We're the one calling Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? We're the one pretty much bringing this kingdom down with our words, man. But the kingdom of heaven is in us. It's the core of the world, not the small hats, right? Not the pastors, not Esau. You know what I'm saying?
No, I just had something else.
I have some real quick. 1 Samuel 16:7, it says, "But the Lord Yahweh Yahushai said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord Yahweh Yahushai seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord Yahweh Yahushai looketh on the mind, on the heart." Right? So you may have mentioned the point where kind of bring this out. The Lord doesn't really care about like I was okay, that was it. Where he talks a certain way, he's polished. The Lord doesn't care about that. God doesn't care about that, right? That's not gonna give you favor with him, because you can speak very eloquently and all that kind of shit. Yeah, right? You just eloquent words and you're able to speak properly. I'm just using that specific thing that he does, right? He doesn't care about that kind of shit. He cares about your heart, your mind. You actually love him, right? When it really boils down to it, when I test you, are you gonna choose me? Or you can choose the world. That's what he cares about. That's what he talks about David being a man of the Lord's heart. Because David was put in a lot of situations where he could have turned on the Lord. A lot. And even when he fucked up, which was supposed to happen anyways, what did he do? He repented completely. He repented, and it was a real repentance, and he really repented. The Lord tested him. No matter what he put through, he's like, nope, I deserve it. Nope, leave that man alone. Nope, it's all good. I know what I did. And then another situation is where the situation with him and Saul. He could have killed him in a lot of situations, and he didn't. Because that's like you said, that's the Lord's anointing. Because he knows the rules. He's like, I'm not doing that. That's the Lord anointed him. I'm not doing that. That's the Lord's man. I'm not, even whatever's going on with him has nothing to do with me. I'm just going to be the best person I can possibly be for him. Right?
Got it. I got that.
Yeah, okay.
1 Samuel 24. I'll start at verse 4, and the point's at 6. And it says, okay, I'll just read verse 1. And it says, "And it came to pass, when Saul returned from the following the Philistines, it was told to him, saying, Behold, David is in the wilderness of En-gedi." And it says in verse 4, "And the men of David said unto him, Behold, they of the Lord Yahweh said unto thee, Behold, I will deliver thine enemy into thy hand, that thou mayest do to him, that it may seem good unto thee. Then David arose and cut off the skirt of Saul's robe privately. And it came to pass afterward that David's heart smote him, because he had cut off Saul's skirt." So because he had like a garment, and David, he took a sword and he like sliced it off, right? But when that happened, it says his heart smote him. In verse 6, "And he said unto his men, The Lord Yahweh forbid I should do this thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch forth mine hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord." So essentially, just to add to what you're saying, David had an opportunity to basically get his lick back. Yeah, right? And that's really what you get in this world anyways. It's like, okay, somebody does this to you, they step on your shoes, or let me dust that guy out, rather than actually remaining spiritual and realizing like, yo, what? The Lord's gonna handle this. Vengeance is the Lord, right? Let the Lord deal with it. Right? And that's what David did. That's what David exemplified, because mercy, exactly. Right? Because if you ask anybody, like, okay, David would have been, I don't want to say he would have been justified. I'm just saying that, people would think that David, okay, it would have been okay for him to do that because of what Saul did. Because when you go back earlier in the story, Saul threw javelins at David, right? So Saul was tripping out. Essentially, an evil spirit came upon him, and he was behaving carnal, But David remained very spiritual in all these different situations he's in. So, right? So,
I think at this time he was already anointed, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so he would have been justified because the Lord had already chosen him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but he had mercy on his master. He still looked at him like, okay, he still he still has the crown.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly,
Israel
right.
still see him as a king.
Right.
So this is the spiritual thing, that he's the spiritual king at that point.
Yeah.
Saul the physical king. So that shows character.
Character, that's right.
And also faith. Because eventually he was gonna get the throne. Because if he had smite Saul, the throne would have been his. But the throne got to be his enemy. By the show of mercy.
Right.
He didn't want to get the throne by killing him.
Yeah, usurping in the people's eyes.
Exactly. That's how they
Right,
took
right.
it.
Yeah.
So he had discernment too, right?
That's why it talks about the show mercy of David.
That's right.
Show mercy of David. This like David, like there's many instances like where he showed mercy to people like basically put up like people like killed. Like what after he became king, there was an instant where like this like he was walking, like this like this woman was just like insulting him because basically this like there was a Benjamin. Basically she was coming against David because basically she thought that David took over the throne from King Saul.
Yeah, fine.
So it was like she was insulting him, basically throwing rocks at him. But David's men that really wanted to kill the woman, but David said, no, don't kill her. Like, it was like even when his own son Absalom came against him, he could have easily killed him, but like no, he chose mercy. She showed mercy. So that's the show mercy of David. That's why ultimately, like the elect, that's what the promise, the show mercy of David. Right?
You would be in situations where like the Lord is going to test your character.
Yeah.
Right? So, remaining spiritual, that's something the world doesn't teach you. The world doesn't teach you to essentially remain spiritual and to exemplify character. Right? The world doesn't, especially when it comes to our people, because really you get your character by learning about Yahushua and learning about the forefathers of old, the ones that were upright and righteous. The world doesn't teach you. The world teaches you to kind of like revenge. You learn the ways of Esau. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Cutthroat.
Right? Exactly. When it comes to taking care of the welfare of the poor of your people, Esau doesn't care about the poor, right? So those kinds of things, like in the world, you don't learn that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So we're seeing examples of Esau not giving a fuck about the poor, starting with his people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you're right. That's how Jake treats the poor.
Yeah.
Like guys like Jay-Z, Drake, and all those fucking idiots. They look down. They despise the poor, and the poor is the one that's propping them up.
Exactly. That's
So how do you despise the people? So Esau despises the people that's holding up his society.
That's right.
She takes shits on. Like we used to have that, gleaning grapes. Whatever produce that we have, the poor is gonna eat.
Yeah, sure.
In this time, man, Esau, Esau don't even give a fuck. You have homeless people, homeless encampment. He can clean this up like this. He doesn't want to. And people have taken on that same spirit, man. Right? When Esau came out of out of Europe, before they came over here and conquered, they were murdering each other over there. Right? And then they come over here and so-called, put the differences aside. But then that spirit came back out again. And Jake took that spirit onto himself. Esau made a bunch of enemies, man.
That's right. Well, that's why the scriptures say you are like the father of the devil.
That's right.
Murder from the beginning. I got Sirach 2 and 10. Talking about, trust in Esau. Don't speak to the world. Our people.
Yep.
Sirach 2 and 10, it says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken?
Yep.
Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right? The answer is no one. Right? He always will have your back. Right? He'll show you that he's there. It's just whether you're going to listen. Whether you're going to listen, because the word listen goes into obey. Right? That's right. It says, verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiving sins, and saving the eternal affliction. Because of the
No. Well, I just had a quick point because it said,
yeah. It says, I'll read it again. It says, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction.
Right, yeah. I was just going to say that seeing the words of prophets out here really is a sign of mercy, it's compassion, right? Because he's telling you to turn back before the affliction actually comes, right? So, like, a lot of people are not just not going to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? They scoff at it, they take it as an opportunity, they go on their TikTok, they rant, they say all kinds of things, they mock the prophets, they speak too rough, they're this, and they're that. You know what I'm saying? So in that time of affliction, you're going to seek the Lord, but you're not going to find him. You're not going to be able to hear the words of the Lord.
Verse 12, it says, woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goes 2 ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. And that, for example, is what we were talking about, Assad, because they didn't actually believe. They did not believe, and they got the consolation prize, like we mentioned earlier.
You got the Hellcats.
Exactly, the Hellcats, their Range Rovers,
The wagon.
yeah, the wagon, right? They got the consolation prize, but it's a consolation prize that's going to disappear. Right? It's really temporary. Right? It's going to disappear, and you're going to have to sell yourself, right, to the beast by taking an OTB to keep it. Right? So you have to sell something that's more precious to keep something that's less precious. It says, they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well, please unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord will prepare their minds and humble their souls in his sight. Seeing we will fall into the hands of the Lord and not into the hands of man. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy.
David did that. Yeah. Right? When David had the 3 options when he had sinned, fall into the hands of the enemies, or fall into the hands of the Lord, man. He said, hey man, put me in the hands of the Lord. The Lord will have mercy. The enemies, they'll go buck wild, man. Because remember, the enemies are always waiting. And once they put their hands on you, like, oh, look at what it did to the Israelites. So David can foresee, like, if I put my hand, if the Philistines pretty much took over our kingdom, they're going to just slaughter all of us, man. They're going to humiliate me, but I'd rather be humiliated by the Lord. So it's better to put your trust in the Lord, man, because at least the Lord, he's the power of mercy, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You might say, oh, you know what? That's enough. That's enough. And the whole nation right now is at his mercy. You know? Because it's going to be an end of our captivity soon, man. So that's the power of mercy. That's what we put our trust in.
That was it.
Yeah, we can just switch it up. Leave those losers alone. The Lord's going to deal with them. Yeah.
Lamentations 3 verse 22, and it says, it is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, for his compassions fail not. They are new every morning, great is thy faithfulness. Right, so yeah, there's multiple examples of the Lord's mercy, right? The Lord asks, the servants and prophets out teaching, giving our people the actual hidden bread, that spiritual bread to be able to sustain themselves. Right? To know, so you know what is basically pleasing. That's the job of a priest. The priest is supposed to be able to teach the people, okay, what is holy versus what is profane. Right? And that is what is being given to our people. Our people don't actually appreciate the Lord's mercy and his compassion.
Because if you look at it, like from the time you're born, like, you get like bombarded with all these, like, the judge, the so-called, when you're born, you get this judge, okay, then like one, like, maybe to make it out of that, that's a miracle. You have to know that the judge really, the block, basically, it's not just block you from the Heavenly Father, right? You can't do things, but yet you're able to overcome that, man. So this people are not shy. You got to go with the food that you eat. Okay, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, everything basically is targeted to destroy us, man. Right? That's why the Heavenly Father, the Heavenly Father began over here, man. cars that we drive, man, like, you know, our road is really designed to kill us slowly.
That's right. I got Psalm 124. I start at 1. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick, and when their wrath was kindled against us, then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul, then the proud waters had gone over our soul. Blessed be the Lord, who have not given us as a prey to their teeth.
In the scripture tells you, like, Jacob says, that woman Jacob. You look at a woman is defenseless, man. Like, we have no standing army, we have no, like, way of defense. Literally, like mercy of the heathen, man. Because the mercy hasn't part, you know, he did not give us the devices. Right?
Yep. Our soul is a...
No, I just want to say, you mentioned the heathen, right? The Lord gave us understanding how to actually please Him. So if you know how to please Him, then you don't understand that He that pleases the Lord will make His enemies to be at peace. That's right. Right? So if you know what's pleasing, it can actually keep you from certain dangers. Right? Now we don't understand that aspect of actually thinking about, seeing a higher power to control everything. Let me just do that, and then the Lord can work things out in my favor. Just like when it was in the time of Nehemiah, prayed to the Lord, and the Lord used that king, I think it was Artaxerxes II, to be able to give him the resources to be able to that guy from the temple to help him build the walls of Jerusalem. Right? I'm going to put limitations upon the Lord. That's what people do.
We're doing it right now. We're out here preaching the word, right? In a Babylonian kingdom, right? Our enemies walk around us all the time, and they don't do anything. Now, I'm not saying they can't. The Lord can always do something to try and test you, but for the most part, it doesn't really happen. I know Elder Amaya can probably speak about, back when the camp was in a different area. Oh God, it was a lot more worse back then, right? I think there were fights and.
Oh yeah, there were fights. Yeah. Brothers got assaulted. Like a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
But the Lord put a cease on all that because now we're less aggressive.
Yeah.
We're more wise. I would say we're more like doves. Back then we were like lions. But the fire still burned the same. It just now we're more subtle about it. We're more smart. Now we just teach. You know what I'm saying? And we know now, it's always of the elect, man. That's the elect are gonna get it. We're just preaching. We're just filling the time until the elect is sealed, man. That's it. Because everything that needs to be said is already said. That's it.
As soon as family of the word hits, that's it.
Yeah.
That's really the next thing that has to come, is family of the word.
Yeah. And like I said, we're talking about merciless power, right? In the near future, with Esau, you're gonna see how unmerciful this man is, because remember, he's gonna come for the tribes. He's gonna wipe the tribes out, man. Right? And the Lord's gonna save His elect.
Yeah.
It says here, blessed be the Lord, who hath not given us as a prey to their teeth. And this is a prayer for the elect, because 2,000 of our people are going to be wiped out anyways.
That's right.
Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers, which is Esau and these other heathens. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. That's the elect. That's right. And they're going to be taken up in these chariots, man. Whether these Deacon Hakar or the other guy, Hassad, whatever his name is, they're going to see it, man. They're going to be left back here.
That's right.
They're going to see the missiles coming over. That's what they're going to see. Our help is in the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai, who made heaven and earth.
That's right.
A good example of that, the Lord's coming through, was the time of King Hezekiah. You had that king, Sennacherib, the Assyrian king, he was taunting him, saying, I'm going to open this place and that place. It wasn't to stop me from taking the And what did Hezekiah do? He basically made his supplication unto the Lord. So he prayed, and then eventually the Lord came, an angel came and, dusted out the Assyrian army.
That's right.
Right? So, we need that type of defense, in times of trouble. Now, because, like we were saying about worms, right? So, out here also making that supplication, making those prayers, to essentially atone, so the Lord would actually have mercy upon us. The scriptures say, seeking righteousness and seeking meekness, that you may be hidden from the day of the Lord's anger. Right? Just look at the vast majority of our people when they were doing all those deportations. A lot of our people got sent back. A lot of them got their families died. Concentration, whatever happened.
Thrown off into the fucking sea.
Oh,
We heard about that.
Yeah.
Organ harvesting.
They got dumped off into the sea, man.
Sex
Swim.
trafficking.
So
And these all shut down.
Yeah.
Swept up.
Got a quick one. 1 Peter 4:18, it says in KJV, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where should the ungodly and the sinner appear? Right? Because the righteous are going to be scarcely saved. Right? They're going to be scarcely saved. The elect are going to be tested too, just like the 2/3 in America and the rest of Israel around the world. They're going to be tested. Right? And the Lord, it's going to be a situation where they're going to think, maybe I'm not going to make it. They might have that doubt. It might happen. Right? Because they're still in the flesh. But then the voice will come back like, no, I'm good. Right? Right? So if the righteous are scarcely going to be saved, scarcely, how are you guys that you Israelites that don't want to obey the word, right? That want to live in this world, that want to be attached to this world, right? Don't want to be attached to the truth. How are you guys going to be saved? Because they go to these other trinkets of the world to say, like, even these guys have bunkers. They talk about they have bunkers where they're gonna survive the missiles, right? But America's gonna be wiped out. So anyone who's getting a bunker over there, you're gonna die. Eventually, yeah, you're gonna die. You might even make it to the bunker.
Yeah. Let's say they have their bunker missile drop.
Yeah.
How long? The scripture said this place is gonna be, the smoke's gonna go up forever and ever.
Yeah.
I mean, this place is gonna be radiated for a long time, man. So you tell me you have enough food to stick that out? You guys are fucked.
You might not even be able to actually enjoy the bunker as a whole. It might just be good for somebody else who's there that's friends.
That's it.
Yeah, like that. Alright.
That's it. You get a heart attack, man.
That Israelite Nabal, he wasn't even able to. He had a lot of substance, right? And then when David and his men needed the help, right? The Lord eventually smote Nabal, gave Abigail to David. So David acquired a lot of the substance, and even Abigail, she even gave a lot of the substance that he had to David and his men, right? So like, how much more actual house of it, must look for like writing those terms, right?
The word Nabal means fool. The name means fool. That's what the name Nabal means. That's why he was acting like that.
A real niggard. This is 2nd Ezra's 9, just to back you up, and 13. And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created.
Yeah. But these guys that's what they are concerned about. It's like guys like the IOC. They're concerned about how the righteous are going to be punished. That's why they're selling on Bible bands. They're coming up with buying up land to so-called homestead. Basically, they're concerned about the main concern is not about how the so-called spaceships, chariots, what they call them, the spiritual power. But these guys, they don't even go into it, man. They talk about these things. They talk about like Michael, Archangel. They talk about them drip of trouble. You see, so their main concern is basically trying to see how they can make it out of here, so that basically basically have it where it's like organized like a community, so like they can kind of make it out, make it out in this life. But we're not concerned about the salvation, the deliverance, the salvation. And that's why we're not trying to buy out this bag, not like investing in all these so-called whatever like gold. It's okay to do these things. That's why this is not where our treasures treasures in heaven. Because where your heart is, that also your heart be like where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. I mean, basically, like if you concern about this truth, if you put your effort and your time into this truth with the word, okay, coming out in house marriage, instant analysis, that's where our treasure is at, man. See, our treasure is not in the bank accounts. It's not in our retirement. It's not in our jobs, in our families. It's the truth. Okay.
I got quoted the Matthew. So Matthew 6:19. It says KJV.
read KJV.
Lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Yeah, because you see this money's failing, man. This money is constantly like losing its value. Yeah, okay. So the economy is failing. Everything around is failing, man. Like, the food is not nutritious.
Exactly.
So there's no point of, trying to basically invest in society.
Kind of. What a time these guys invested. Like the brother just mentioned, the money is failing, the food is failing, entertainment is failing. Life in general is pretty much done, and they're feeling it. And now the time you choose to invest in this society, it's like investing in a burning house.
That's right. Shows you that their mind is not sound.
Stock market is about to crash, man.
That's right. That shows a lack of faith.
That's right.
That's all it is. Still put faith in America. There's nothing but American and black Americans. African Americans, not Israelites. Put the Bible down and just go do what you do, man. Because the elders are pretty much confounding you. I mean, the angels are pretty much they're zoning in on you, niggas, man. You're just waiting for the word from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and it's a wrap. You know? Got anything?
Colossians 3:2, and it says, "Set your affection on things above and not on things on the earth." Right. So all these things, earthly treasures, these things will profit you in the times to come. It's not actually profitable. So, hey, no.
Sure. I should go to Smith.
Yeah, I'm saying that all these different earthly treasures they don't profit you. Right? So ultimately, all people know that they have that mindset of that guy in that parable who had all the storehouses, and basically he was working and he spent a lot of time with him in the little barns and stuff like that. And then the Lord said, "Okay, you fool, you will come and you will die this night." Right? So you know what I mean? Like and then at the end he's like, okay, he didn't have a healthy relationship with the Lord. That's the really main thing. He didn't consider that. He wanted to acquire all these earthly things, right? And then our people are spiritually they're bankrupt, right? Because remember, we transgress. The only reason we're in this condition is because we transgress. So we're in debt. We sin, right? So
slaves. Right. Slaves for the Lord. It talks about Yahushua being a prisoner for Yahushua. If anyone hasn't been okay. Matthew 6:24, it says, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he would hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh Yahushua and Mammon." Right? It's like, for example, at a job. If you have a job, and let's say you work at FedEx, and then you're doing good at that job, everything's great, and then you get another job at Fortino's, right, grocery store. You're going to try to balance the two, right? In each job, you have a boss, right? And the boss telling you what to do, right? And the reality is, you're going to start to you're first going to try to balance it, but it's not going to work because the scriptures even say, "When thou puttest his hand to do without thy will." I'm paraphrasing, right? If you do something, you got to do it 100%. You can't do it half-assed. Right? That's why people that usually have these part-time jobs usually quit one and go do the other one.
Yep.
You can't do it forever, right? Because eventually you're going to start to hate, this job, man, always telling me to do this there, right? I can't do it. At that job, that stuff doesn't really happen. Right? I'm going to go to that job. Right? I'm going to go there. So that's what happens, right? And then this kid, and Mammon, I think Mammon goes into money.
Maybe thin yourself up. Stretching yourself thin. That's something I learned this week. So doing things, when you do things, you do it one at a time so you become profitable when you're doing it. Yeah, right? So basically time manage, okay, set aside some time for this, set aside time for that, because yes, we understand we're subject to payments, but at the same time you set aside time to actually do something for the Lord. Yeah, take some time to read. You know, you watch a lesson or even do a lesson, right? To help keep you spiritually satiated, keep you within the spirit, basically, right? So we say some reading, right? So those things help you keep you in the spirit, right? Because the world drains you.
Yes, it does.
Saying?
Verse 25, it says, "Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment?" Right? Because like, the Lord's going to take care of you. Right? And this is a scripture that says, "As the light shall, the servants shall eat and they shall drink." So at the end of the day, you don't really have to worry about it. However, the Lord's going to do it, He's going to guide you, or He has to guide you to get whether it's something which is to you or you to it. Right? Just like the, I forgot the prophet. Was it ravens or lions? Elijah.
And that was the thing, there was a famine, I think, at that time. Right? And commanded the ravens to feed, right? And even later on in that story, that same story, he still went to a woman's. There was a woman's inn. And then, he got fed with, I think it was some kind of bread, and he has been bread and oil or something like that, right? So he still ate during that time of famine, right? Oil and bread or something like that. She fed him, right? So, the Lord still took care of him in that time.
Yeah, there are many examples of men who put their trust in the Lord. He always provide. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even us in this time, sometimes we're, we're asked out, man. No money, we're no food, and just something just happens. Yeah, man.
I remember the Pastor did a video one time, and basically was saying, like, one time at the grocery store, like, he looked down and I saw like someone that was right there, like, no one saw it, only he saw it. And that was the money that he needed to actually help him to help his situation, and also he shared some of the other pastors. That was like right there, like, he was looked down, and there's money, like, a stack of money right there, man. That's a spiritual power. That's not faith. That's faith because you know that they're taking care of the time of need.
Because our people seem to forget that the angels are looking at all of us, man. Once you preach His word, there's a connection that goes up. It's like a line, man. It's like, okay, there's one of them, there's one of them, there's one. We can't hide. So when you're in distress, sometimes you might not even go home and pray, but you might just say in your mind, like, I'm going to try to help me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that prayer is answered, man.
That's true. That happens.
That's right.
I have a quick testimony of that too. I remember my car broke down, and eventually, I was taking an Uber to work, and I had like a special key tag to get into the building because not everybody. It's not like a building that has security and stuff like that. But anyways, I was in the Uber and I was thinking, I can't get into the building. And I just started thinking when the work can actually send someone to actually help me out, just so I can get into the building. And I kid you not, as soon as I got there, someone was there right behind me, and then they came in to let me in the building. Right? And that was something I didn't even pray for. I was just thinking, right? So meditating on those miracles and those possibilities and those different accounts of where the Lord came from for certain men, it helps you to keep that confidence up, right? So you don't really get so, because that's part of being in this flesh. This flesh wants to create. It's all about doubt and worrying, because we're thinking about food, and we're thinking about shelter, bills, exactly, money, right? But it's when you know those accounts, scriptures say that the things are written aforetime, written for our learning, so you understand these things that we Lord can do this for me, right? So you think more positive. That's positive thinking. Right?
Especially like the account of when I think it was Eliezer, he was going to find a wife for his master's wife, his master's son. He went to try to look for a wife. Basically, he said a prayer that he comes to a well, and then he finds if I find a woman was basically basically fetch him some water and also fetch him water for his animals. That would be the woman that he wants. And literally, as he was praying, the woman came out, and I think it was Rebecca. Rebecca came out and actually, she fetched the water. She asked him to drink water. She fetched the water for him and she fetched the water for his animals as well. That was it. That's how she knew. That's how we knew that was the woman that the Most High basically chosen for Isaac. Right. Like as I was praying, this happened as I was praying. And the scripture tells us basically before we pray, the person is going to answer our prayers before we think of it. ultimately, the Spirit knows our needs.
All the time. Oh yeah.
The Spirit is sins for us. Very much right.
I got Ecclesiasticus 2 and 10. We're not reading that. Look at the generation of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that call upon?
And the funny thing is, I read that earlier. But yeah, this is supposed to come out again. I didn't say anything. It's coming out again. But it's true, right? The Lord, like the brother mentioned, that the Lord already knows what you're going to ask before you ask him, right? He's just waiting for you to ask. It's like a man with his woman. Like, I already have the things to help you. I just wait for you to ask. I don't want you to ask me. Right? Why are you going over there? You already know every time you ask me, I always help you. So why aren't you asking me? You just ask me. Right? The scripture that says praying without ceasing. Right? You're without ceasing. So you're supposed to keep praying. Right? Keep asking. Right? Keep begging. Right? Because you don't have it, so you gotta keep asking. He wants to see how devoted you are to him. Right? There you go.
I have that precept, Romans 8, verse 26. Wait, hold on. I'll start at verse 8. Yeah, 26, and it says, likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. For we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth that what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High Yahweh. Right? So we have somebody to make our intercession for us. Yahweh, he's our mediator, he's our high priest. Right? Because the high priest will go into the Holy of Holies, and then he would basically be like an atonement. Right? So our atonement, Yahweh is also our atonement to basically be that person to hear our supplication, hear our prayers, right? So the prayers are very important. That's what people say prayers are the piercing the clouds. Prayers are very, very important.
I don't know, you got it.
Yeah, see, it's not just us, it's not just like man and Lord, like basically tells you that basically like all the creation is groaning. I mean, the petition of the Son of the Most High. So, like all the world, man, like we're suffering under this man's oppression. So it's not just us. So that's what ultimately, when you say them get judged, it's going to get judged, without mercy. Because he hasn't just offended, these people. He has offended the whole earth. The whole earth is one gets taken down. The animals, the trees, the birds, everything. Man. That's right.
I got Hebrews 11, and we'll start from 1. Let's go keep reading. So Hebrews 11 and 1, it says, now faith is the substance of...
Huh?
4%.
Oh, okay, come on.
Okay, there you go. Okay, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. So these things hoped for, right? The evidence of things not seen physically, right? That's why the scriptures talk about the eye salve, right? You have to have the spiritual eye, right? And then I'll keep reading. It says, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Yahweh Yahushai, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear, right? So things that are seen, I'll read it again. Through the faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Yahweh Yahushai, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Right? So the spiritual world, right, you can't, the spiritual world, everything that happens in the spiritual world is going to manifest physically, right? And if you can't see the spiritual world, you're going to get lost in the physical world, right? You're going to get lost. Because the carnal is right now, it's right in front of your face, but the spiritual's still there, it's right in front of us right now. There's spirits, there's demons, spirits walking around, you can't see it, right? Unless you have the eyes, but we can see it. The men of the Lord can see it because you can see spirits jump on people in the sky, like the guy that was over here,
Yeah.
what he was doing, right?
Yeah.
Spirits are on him.
Even that girl that was walking with a cat, holding a cat, I can see it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, earlier she had a cat just walking like close like this. You can just see that she had demons on her.
Yeah.
And she need that cat for comfort. You know? Anyone with those dogs, what do you call those dogs again?
Comfort dog? Oh no, it's not comfort dogs.
Dogs that, you know, like,
Yeah, I
they need
know.
us to touch it and... Yeah, those are people with demons, man.
Sticking out for
You know, they're demons. You know? Alright, you can
Okay, so we're gonna close out. We're gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, and Kakadash. Come on, the apostles of Great Millstone, and the Holy Spirit, which is word and truth, the spirit of the earth. We're gonna say Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. It's Shabbat right now.
Where it started?
Yeah, it's Saturday to Sunday, right?
Yeah, like in an hour.
Yeah, well, an hour. Okay, well.
Still going?
Yeah, kind of. It's perfect time too.
Yeah, it's good.
It goes directly to the,
We have
Yeah.
to the channel, right?
Yeah. So we upload it. It takes like a few minutes.
Yeah, come on.
Shabbat is coming, what, 8:30, I think?
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, so, I mean,